Hello and welcome back to coverage here at Grand Prix Dallas Fort Worth. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Paulo Vitor Dominaria, and it's round number 13. Matt Resnick on the right is on 11-1. Aaron Ruben, well, he's the last man standing, 12-0, undefeated.
That's a pretty good record.
Yet somehow he starts things off with sparring construct.
Yeah,
these are things you don't normally put together, but here we go. We know that Aaron is rocking a red-white aggressive deck. Flirted with the idea of going into green, and green ended up being very open in the third pack of his draft, but as it stood, he stuck to his guns, and he is on just a red-white aggressive deck, and that's going to prompt Matt Resnick, who is on a interesting build. This is actually a red-black, I'd call it a control deck.
Yeah, I think it's a grindy deck. It's full of 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s sometimes.
10-for-1s?
3.
9-for-1s.
Also 10 if you count Joseph as.
I do count Joseph.
Okay. Well, you see it's getting double blocked, so it's a 10-for-1. But I meant 3. Like and the Calico Skinwitch, for example.
There you go.
Or a Soul Salvage on a Guido Chronicler.
These are all things that are possible for Matt Resnick. And I have to say, I like his side of this matchup significantly. We noted that Aaron Ruben's deck, as far as overall power level goes, is really lacking. He doesn't have anything major. It's mainly made of cheap commons like the cards that you see here. This is one of his best cards, in fact, is a two-headed giant. But with the removal that Matt Resnick has access to, I think he's going to be able to control the board in a reasonable way. And once we see a Gitu Chronicler or something along those lines get kicked, it's going to really fall apart here for Ruben. So the thing to pay attention to early is, can Ruben get out to a lead that he can really capitalize on? And so far, the answer's been no. A 1-3 brick walled him.
Yeah, and the two-headed giant, it can attack, but if it doesn't get double strike, it can just be blocked by the Confessor and the Witch, and it's going to kill one of those.
That's right.
So even though Matt doesn't appear to be able to remove it, and in fact doesn't have any of the many 5-drops that are in his deck, it's still not going to do anything.
That's right. And you know what? Aaron Ruben doesn't have any way to push it through either. He doesn't want to, well, flip a couple of coins on it. Quarter of the time you get that double strike. The other 3/4 of the time you're either getting menaced or nothing. So, nope, not going to send it in. He's just going to play Dominant Trapper. Now, the interesting part about that is he doesn't have a ton of ways to trigger it, though he did try to maximize it. That's why part of the reason why you see the sparring construct there.
Oh, he has a Skizik in hand?
Okay.
That will even make the Goblin a 3-3. Yeah, I expect we will see a very big attack from Aaron here. The Sparring Construct will probably stay back. Everything else should attack.
Yeah. Is there even an argument for just sending in the Construct here?
I don't think so, because I don't. Well, you do stop the Giant from being double blocking if you send in the Construct, or you deal an extra damage. So it could be relevant, but I don't know if the Giant will even be blocked. But not attacking with the Goblin, I believe, is criminal. And
I'm really surprised to see that Aaron's decided not to attack with the Bloodstone Goblin. It does have Menace, and it's a 3-3 right now.
And the Trapper should attack as well,
yes,
because you don't mind trading for your opponents. Like, it's not like he can trigger it in his deck,
Right.
His artifact's already in play. He has, 2 more? So I think attacking with everything would be reasonable, and leaving the Construct back would be reasonable. Attacking with everything seems to be the best choice here. I'm assuming Aaron just forgot that he played a kicked spell. Because Skizik doesn't look like it was kicked.
Yeah.
It doesn't have an additional effect. It just costs 5.
Right.
Is how most people look at it. But luckily for him, Matt Resnick hasn't seemed to have drawn a spell this game yet.
It's been a little bit of a weird one for Resnick, who maybe is just flooding out super hard on his side of the battlefield. In the meantime, Matt does take 5 there, but is able to trade off his Stronghold Confessor. And that means that the two-headed giant is slain. It's gone. Well, now Ruben's going to get frisky here and just jam with the squad.
Yeah, I see 3 lands in Matt Nars's hand and 1 unknown card. It might be like a Soul Salvage, but that would probably have been cast.
Yeah, you got to figure that he would have just cast that and then recast the Confessor if possible. He doesn't really have the room to try to get maximum value out of cards like that at this point.
He definitely doesn't, yeah.
This has been a very unfortunate draw for Resnick. That is a lot of lands.
Yeah, he really
10
is.
lands to go with 3 spells so far. He's going to chump block to soak up 3 of the damage, but that means he's taking a full 8, and with no board state whatsoever, it's hard to imagine him coming back from this. Well,
I'm really curious what that spell is. Is it even a spell? I can't imagine what wouldn't have been cast.
it's a spell.
I believe it is Soul
I
Salvage.
think it is, yeah.
Okay, I think he really should have cast it last turn if it was Soul Salvage. I don't think he has time to cast it now.
No, maybe a little too greedy, a little too slow of a line there from Matt Resnick. He's just facing so much pressure.
He can still cast it and cast the Confessor as a 1/1 to block. You know, he gets to eviscerate this Kizik and recast the Confessor as a 1/1, but that doesn't get him anywhere. He takes 3 damage. He's facing down 6 damage. So.
Yeah. Where if he would have done this last turn, he could have traded off the Confessor for the Skizik potentially.
Yeah, and that would have stopped
from the Goblin. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Soul Salvage. Now he 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but he does kind of need to play the 1/1 here, right?
Well, it depends on whether he's chum blocking or not.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, Aaron had a Gita Chronicler in hand that he didn't play.
Aaron did?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, he doesn't have anything to return.
No, but it attacks.
Yeah.
I think that was a Sergeant-at-Arms off the top, perhaps. Maybe it was a Pegasus. I couldn't quite see, but and either way, it was definitely a spell, and he doesn't need a whole lot because he's going to force a block here. Yeah, it was Sergeant-at-Arms. And that's going to look really nice here. Just going wide makes it very difficult for Matt to come back, as even another removal spell off the top of the library wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, Matt is super dead.
Very much so.
Well, Aaron knows that Matt is going to cast Cyclegos King Witch next turn, so he has to think about what he wants to play, what he wants to discard. Oh, also, if he played the Chronicler the previous turn, he could kick it, and that would give the Goblin +1/+1. So it would be 1 extra damage the previous turn, and 1 more damage now. Even though you don't have a target in your graveyard, you can still just kick it.
Wow, that's really interesting. So Matt feels forced to just soak up as much damage as possible. In this case, that's 3.
I don't think he knows what that Goblin does.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
This is the second time that he's kicked a spell and didn't use the Goblin. But he clearly wanted to play the Sergeant-at-Arms first and then to kick the Goblin. But that happens, you know, it's interesting because for us, Paulo, you know, you got a Pro Tour on the horizon. I had to be in the booth for this GP and, of course, for the Pro Tour. So I'm trying to get up to speed as quick as possible. And this format feels like it's maturing. But in reality, it's only been out for a little while for a lot of players.
Oh, yeah, the format is very new. It's easy to forget what a card does. Still, that is the only thing that Goblin does.
Yeah. And
so it's not like it has 100 abilities and you forgot what.
That's true. That's true. But also, to be fair to Aaron, it almost does nothing. Like that Goblin more often is just a 2/2 for 2, and he may have just sort of relegated it to that in his mind.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. Yeah, it is. The set is very new, and there are a number of complicated cards in it that don't do what you originally assumed they would do. You know, and sometimes you get caught in some tricky interactions.
So we're going to go the old Mana Flood into Mana Screw here for Matt Resnick.
Yeah.
Now this is how you get to 12-0 with a medium deck.
And Aaron does have the kind of deck that can punish this type of draw. Like, this is the advantage of drafting those aggressive red-white decks with, you know, 2-drops, combat tricks. They aren't powerful, but if your opponent stumbles, you're ready to punish them. A deck like Matt Resnick's cannot punish this type of draw nearly as well.
No.
So Aaron's deck does have that going for it.
Needed to see a land here from Resnick and didn't, though. Aaron Ruben with his vanilla 2/2 for 2 is the only follow-up. So this Gitu Chronicler is doing a reasonable job of holding back at least some of the attacks. But you can't expect this to last very long if you're Matt Resnick. And this is just a real bummer for him. He has a favorable matchup and a solid deck with a lot of play to it, but he just hasn't had the option. So he's going to take a couple of damage here, drop down to 18. He will still have a window for the next turn or two to start finding lands and deploying cards, but it's going to need to be a swamp, and it's going to need to be soon because Here's a Keldon Raider.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she'd even got capped his hand. It doesn't seem like he has a lot going on, even if he does draw some.
Oh, interesting.
I
Swamp?
think he has fungal infection in hand, but that's probably the only thing he can cast. And Deck on Faster.
Now he's going to discard.
Yeah, that has to be feeling pretty bad.
Yeah. No bueno for Matt Resnick here. And the Keldon Raider is a very real attacker. Now we're talking about 6 damage getting through. Forebear's Blade looks way too slow, so he's going to go ahead and discard it. But this one's basically done. Missing that land drop, I think, is the nails in the coffin for Matt Resnick. Now, the good news for him is that he will be 11-2 if he loses this one. And that means he's still very much in range for a top 8. And the really good news for Aaron Ruben is that he's 13-0 and basically a lock.
Yeah, I believe that would be a hard lock.
Yeah, so this is kind of the best of both worlds in the sense that neither player is actually eliminated.
Sure, it would have been the best of both worlds in the other direction, too.
Indeed.
Regardless of who won.
Well, I mean,
both BX won.
But I mean, Aaron, look, this deck is not amazing.
Oh, no.
And if you go 12-0-0-3.
I mean, if you know those are teammates and your goal is that both of them do well, then yeah, that is how I would allocate the wins.
I'm completely impartial in the booth, so.
Because I believe that Matt's deck is better. So he has a much higher chance of winning the next matches.
Yeah.
And, Aaron's deck got the one win he needed. And that might be all that he gets, but that's enough. And he built his deck, in a way that he could punish a start like that, and he did.
Yeah, definitely. And that, I think that we should focus on that because that's something that Paulo mentioned a minute ago, that is really the upside of these type of decks where you don't necessarily expect them to be great in all circumstances, but there are circumstances where those decks are extremely punishing. And while Matt never even drew a third land that game, even if he had, it still may have been too late at a certain point there, even a couple of turns prior. So we got a 13-0 out in the field. Congratulations. That is a very big accomplishment. And maybe even going further. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring you the table that was sitting right next to them. We call that Table B over in the feature match area right now. All right, so here's Robert Brown versus Jay Trojan. Now, these are the ones that we didn't watch, you and I, Paulo, but they were actually on camera as far as the draft goes. So if you've been watching along, you may know more about the decks than Paulo and I do even. And let's see how Robert and Jay line up. They're both sitting at 11-1.
Yeah, I know Robert has an aggressive red-white deck, and that he really likes Juggernaut.
Okay. Well, oof. I was going to say we got a race on our hands here, but Danitha Capuchin is a bit of a race stopper. If Jay doesn't have an answer, that is going to be a very annoying card because he won't be able to attack. Vicious Offering is going to take down the Legend and let that Keldon Overseer get in for another 3, already overperforming here with 6 damage. Yeah,
and, it might deal more or even block the Juggernaut later on.
Robert Brown's going to be mana efficient and play a Rampaging Cyclops, which also looks just fine here. This is one of those draws where Jay really would like to just keep killing everything that Robert puts out there and keep hammering with his 3-powered Haster. Does he have an Eviscerate? No, he's got his own Rampaging Cyclops, and he's just going to have to pass a turn back. So this could be the turning point in the game, as Robert Brown now may be able to steal the initiative back from Jay.
Yeah, and Robert Brown's deck doesn't look like it's very good at catching up. He has Runamox and Juggernauts and cards that really want you to attack. So if he falls too far behind, then he's going to be in trouble. But he hasn't done that yet.
He's going to play Dub and Jam.
Yeah, so that gets, if it's blocked, it has to be a 4/6 first striker.
Yes.
It's not blocked, it deals 6. So, and there's a run amok in hand for Robert Brown, so it is a 3-turn clock.
Oh boy, nice follow-up here too. Knight of Grace will keep that Overseer at bay and really just put himself ahead in the race. But we know how quickly this can turn around. If there's a removal spell for the Cyclops, say an Eviscerate, something like that.
I don't believe there is. There is a Saga, which I think is Eldos Reborn. But, it'd still be good.
It would be good.
Well, I guess he's not playing that.
And he must not have his 5th land. No, he does. What's going on here? Usually you want to get that Saga going as soon as you can. And these are 2 very good creatures to have die. And one of them would allow him to attack for an additional 3 damage. Oh, I see. He's going to go with Cabal Paladin so he can get the trigger out of it.
He wants maximal value.
Oh, yeah. Jay, I'm with you, buddy. That is how you do it. Meanwhile, it's just a slugfest between these two. That run-amok in hand for Robert Brown, threatening to deal extra damage that perhaps Jay is unaware of.
Yeah, but Robert Brown is at 10.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a lot. If he attacks with his 2 creatures, he just dies. So even if he has something, he could just, that thing could get removed. He's playing against black-red, and then he would die.
Oh!
So he has to be careful.
He is getting the bonus on the Knight of Grace, so this is an attack for 9 damage.
Yeah, we might see a chump block on the Cyclops, but
Jay just said take it. Okay, run amok. That's 12, but Jay's at 14.
Does he have another run amok? Oh, wow.
He's got charge for Exaxes! Oh, my God. Robert Brown just attacked for 14.
Okay, not bad.
That is a nice way to finish the game.
And Jay's just looking
like,
at
is this real?
Yep.
He looked at it and said, there's no way I die here. I'll just take it. I got you dead on the crackback.
He could still win if he had Shivan Fire because he could kill his Paladin. And that would shrink the Knight of Grace.
You're right.
But
he didn't have it. And Robert Brown just steals a victory from Jay Trojan. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, that was nice from Robert Brown, definitely. And that's all his deck is. He has multiple run amoks, other combat tricks, and just attacking creatures. He was able to stay on the offense that game, and
wow.
Yeah, his deck is really good at that.
Isn't that like the most annoying way to lose, Paulo? 2 pump spells?
It's very annoying.
You're not supposed to play around that very often, are you?
Yeah, no. 2?
You
play around 1 of them, but 2?
Yeah. Come on.
Like, obviously, if it's free, you block, and then whatever, you don't lose to anything. But in a spot like that, I would not have blocked either.
Oh.
I mean...
Well, maybe Jay will feel a little better about that when he watches this. Here's the Kaligo Skin Witch, which threatens to trade for the Overseer, which is now on Robert Brown's side of the battlefield and smashing.
Yeah, that is what it usually does. I like out an Overseer. Even though this is a format that is sometimes punishing to 3/1 creatures, there are a lot of 1/3s, there are a lot of 1/1 tokens. The card being good early while representing a very huge life swing in the late game is pretty cool. It effectively adds 3 threats because it removes a blocker and adds 2 attackers, all of, Yeah,
it's very often a game winner.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, as we've seen, it does work on turn 3, especially in matchups like this. He's going to use Fervent Strike to save it. Oh, it's Yargle. Although Yargle does not look amazing here. It does threaten a very large attack.
Yeah. It is.
By the way, Robert Brown has no chill. Did you see that? He just ran the Fervent Strike on his 1 toughness creature against a mountain and a swamp and 5 cards in hand.
Oh, yeah,
no
that is
fear
true.
Magic right there.
Oh, I would not have done that.
No.
Yeah, good point. Especially because you're playing the Pegasus next turn. So your guy will get through regardless. Like, the Overseer will get through anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
He really wanted to get rid of the 1/3 somehow. Feral Abomination is a follow-up play here for Trojan. It's big. It's 5/5. And there's Juggernaut, though.
Oh, and 3 lands in Jay Trojan's hand.
Oh, no.
So what?
Ooh.
Is that a white card?
Yes. Does he have? Oh, no, he can't cast it. It's Gideon's Reproach.
What?
I don't know, man. Maybe he brought it in.
Did he realize he was black-red?
Oh, man. I don't know.
The gods have been kind to the red-white decks this round.
And Robert Brown's actually attacking with everything.
Oh, so...
And he actually jumped his 3/1 instead of the Juggernaut because he has Run Amok, though Death Touch... Let's see, this isn't lethal, is it? 3, 4, that's 8 minus 3 again, though?
He has a charge in hand, too, I believe.
Okay, that still doesn't quite get him there, though, does it?
It does.
It's 6.
It does. The run amok is 3. The charge is 3 more.
It's
Yeah, he actually has
9.
10. Yeah. Well, the Guido's reproach would have been very good there.
It would
I'll
have.
give you that.
It would have. But Robert Brown is just. He's the guy on Magic Online that wants the right-click attack with all button that you said at the beginning of the match, and you can't undo. That's who Robert Brown is. No fear Magic from Robert there. Played around nothing and just got the job done with Xaxes with multiple pump spells in both games.
Yeah, he did. And yeah, that
That is one way to do it.
It is one way to do it. It's not my way. I'll give you that much. But it's Robert's way, and it's been working for him, and certainly worked now.
Yeah, certainly did. So putting him in a very good position for top 8. Kind of want to see him play more, to be honest. It's exciting stuff. We've got a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more Magic here from Dallas-Fort Worth. Hello there. Welcome back to the booth here at Grand Prix Dallas. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. That's Paulo Vitor Damarosa. And it is our pleasure to bring you coverage of Limited here, Dominaria Booster Draft Day. And we've got even more Magic lined up for you this round. We've already been kind of blasting through, but as you may have noticed, the matches went pretty quick down in the feature match area this time, what with double pump spells all over the place, finishing everybody off 2-0-2-0. But we've got one more match to bring you, so why don't we head down to that right now. Here we go. We've got Vikram Kuta playing against Matt Stanky. And again, this is the top tables and the top pod in the field, and you see both of these players are sitting in 11-1 as well. Short sword. Oh, no.
Oh, and pass. Are we going to have another quick game?
Goodness sakes, what is going on in the feature match area this round? It's just been a bunch of demolishings. Stanky with 2-drop into 2-drop, but if he can just continue to use up his mana on anything that affects the board in any way, he should be able to take this game down. And that was it right there. Vikram Kuta missed his land again and has to scoop him up. Yep. So a very quick game number one. And what is this?
It's like, well, that's not happening again.
It could easily happen.
If I'm going to have one land, I'm at least going to have access to both my colors. Or all three of my colors, I guess. Didn't he play a Plains game one? Or was it?
I mean, he's already mulliganed. At least the virtual mulligan.
But did he not? I believe he played a Plains game one, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah. I can't remember now.
Oh, boy.
Navigator's Compass. That
is that your favorite?
It is probably my least favorite.
It's really good with your other favorite, Sarah's Disciple. Because they
trigger each other. Wow. You see all the angles, Paulo. I'll tell you that. This is the second opt of the game for Stanky, who's really just trying to find land drops, I think. Oh, no, I must be wrong about that, because he just took a Aven Sentry into his hand. So he has his land, all three colors of his lands.
Is it a Jeskai Mirror?
Oh, there's an Icy Manipulator, one of the better cards in the set, full stop.
Yeah, it's especially good against 3-color opponents who aren't likely to have, you know, a second color of their splash, second source of their splash color. So you can just keep it off forever if you aren't under pressure. You know, if the game is stalled and no one's doing anything anyway, then you can just stop them from casting spells of one color. It's quite good. It's the heating mode.
Yep. What in the world? I've never even seen that card on the battlefield yet.
It's really good if it's on the battlefield. I mean, it's really good. It's
good. It is.
You know, it's solid. I'll go with solid. 4/3 flyer.
A 4/3 flyer for 4 mana.
Yeah. And it is a wizard.
Yeah, Joda is unlikely to get activated as far as you may pay WooBird rather than pay the mana cost for spells you cast, but still a 4/3 flyer for 4 is a very potent threat, assuming you can cast it, which, again, I've never seen anybody actually pull it off, but here's Time of Ice for Kuta. So Vikram is in an interesting position where he has, well, probably the best removal spell in the format in Icy Manipulator. Wow, look at this. Raf Capuchin as well.
That is a better legendary card than Joda.
Indeed. And now has Time of Ice. Also, Time of Ice needs a counter on it. I suppose they're just memorizing it.
Oh, wow.
Well, what did you see?
He tapped the land on his upkeep, but he has Raf Capuchin in play, so he just played a legend.
Wow, Matt Stanky just calmly ignoring the Icy Manipulator there.
Yeah, and, you know, the interaction between Icy Manipulator and Time of Ice is very good, because Time of Ice doesn't care how the creature got tapped, only that it's tapped, so you can use Icy to bounce another creature, even one of your own creatures. So if he does want to bounce the Githio Chronicler, which I don't think he does right now, he's under a lot of pressure, but assuming he wasn't, then he would just be able to bounce that as well.
Vikram decided not to block with the Githio Chronicler to trade for the Knight.
Yeah, that is
wow, I guess this is why he had Arcane Flight.
I think this might be a point where I just stop tapping a land, and I'd be like, okay, I get it. I'm not, you know, you can cast your blue spell. I'm under a lot of pressure here. Though he does say he's at 17. He gained 3 life off of that. But I don't think 17 can be right. He took at least 7. Joda's a 4/3, right?
Yeah, 4/3 with flying.
Oh, wow. There you go again.
Okay. On Sarah's Wings, another historic card flashed in. And meanwhile, Matt is just going to go ahead and attack with both of his creatures. And Vigilance really pretty annoying for Time of Ice.
Oh, he has to, yeah.
And there we go. The combo is assembled. And that's a nice one. We do need to get rid of the Time of Ice, of course. There we go. Thank you, Vikram.
I think those life totals are very wrong because I think... Oh, no, he tapped the Joda. That's what happened. Okay, so they're right.
Yes.
He tapped the Joda. He only took 6.
Yeah, he tapped the Joda first, and then he started going for the lands, and it didn't really work out for him.
No, it really didn't.
In the meantime, Matt Stanky is bottlenecked as far as mana goes, but has a handful of gas. Oh, and look at this. Matt actually gets a 2-for-1 here using Gideon's plus attack from Baird. He gets a little bit paid off there by continually attacking with Baird and just forcing the obligatory block from Vikram.
Yeah.
Free. Oh, very nice, though. Fire Fist Adept, even just with 1 damage, is plenty enough to kill the Knight of New Benalia. And it looks like Vikram's going to go for the island again. But again, we know that Wrath Caption's in hand for Stanky, so he's just going to flash that in and upkeep. He still actually hasn't hit land number 5. He's got 6 or 7 spells in his hand, but boy, he's going to be able to start deploying them, and it feels like Vikram is just behind on cards at this point. He's flooded out a bit.
Oh, don't tap the land. He can just cast Joda. Like, you know that's what he's going to cast anyway.
Yes.
You can't do better than a 4-3, so I might as well tap the flyer and not take 3 damage.
Yeah, that was a misstep there from Kuta. He does force the issue, but like you said, that's what he wanted to do anyway. There's the other color of mana. I just can't stop looking at that.
Oh, the compass?
Compass, yeah, it's just killing me.
He attacked? Oh, I don't believe he did, right?
Don't think so.
Yeah, he has to tap the Joda to be able to attack, because he can't really block the Joda. I mean, he could, but it would be bad. Marsha, do you think throughout every limited GP that will be played in this format anywhere, anyone is ever going to cast a card with Joda's ability?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I just saw Sam Black kick a Croson Druid with Lich's Mastery on the battlefield, which I do think is more likely. Yes, he drew 10. His opponent put his hands in his hand and then conceded. It was unbelievable. But there's always somebody that has to just get the achievement unlocked, and I think they're going to do it. All right, well, Academy Journey Mage is going to send the bird packing. And let's see, did he get in there this time with the Fire Fist Adept?
Yeah, he did now because he tapped the Joda, he bounced the flyer, so... You know, I would probably lean towards bouncing the Wrath here, even though, you know, the Wrath can be recast at instant speed. At least it means something else is not going to cast at instant speed.
Vikram overpaying slightly there for that Journey Mage.
Oh, no, he paid 1 to attack
because
because of the Barret.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I just assumed that he forgot that since everybody
Oh,
on
no,
camera has forgot it.
Well, he paid 5 when he had a Wizard. So he actually did overpay. You're right.
Okay.
He had a Fire Fist Adept. Yeah, you're definitely right. Sorry about that.
No problem. There's an Aven Sentry. Back in action here. Joda gets tapped. Can Vikram find a win here with this on Sarah's Wings on the Fire Fist Adept? It is the best creature on the battlefield as it sits. Wow, there's another. All right, now he's going to pay correct. But it does still feel like he's a bit behind. The potential from Matt Stanky for all of those spells in his hand. He still has a 6-spell hand here, Paulo.
Yeah, I mean, it is the same old...
Oh,
like,
is this a trickster?
Yeah, it is a trickster.
So did he wait until attacks?
Yes, he waited until attacks. He wants to block that thing.
Yes, and now he's going to just throw every creature in front of it. And what's happening here is there's...
it is tapped.
Yeah, it's tapped, but then they're asking about what abilities it has.
Okay, so it should be a 4/4 legendary.
4/4 legendary, but doesn't have lifelink or vigilance or that stuff anymore, right?
It does not, because this is time-stamped. So this On Sarah's Wings came first, and it gives it the ability. It gives it flying and lifelink. and then the Trickster removes them. So if the positions were reversed, if you cast a Trickster and then the Gonzaro Zings, it would have those abilities. I believe that is how it works.
See a judge coming in to make a ruling here.
All right, the cards are gone.
Well, sometimes this takes a minute to make sure that everything gets sorted out properly. Let's take a little zoom out here, though, while we have a second, Paulo. How do you see this game going? Because Vikram, again, this is, prior to the Trickster seems like a pretty big blowout here. But before that, he did have a 4/4 flying Vigilance Lifelinker and the Icy Manipulator, but somehow I still felt like he wasn't ahead.
I mean, he has 11 lands to his opponent's 6.
Yeah.
So
that's a major issue.
And the cards he's playing, while good cards, are tempo cards. Like, he's playing Archmages. Okay, he's bouncing a creature and attacking for 1 turn, but he's not getting anywhere. Like, those 3/2s aren't real cards. So he's almost casting unsummons at this point. And that it is the old thing that happens every time you play Magic and someone has mana problems and someone is flooded. The person that is flooded eventually just loses because whoever has mana problems will draw 1 land or 2 lands. And then they'll cast 5 or 6 spells that they've been holding, while the person that has 10 lands can't compete with that. So...
And we're seeing that pattern start to play out here.
I believe, that is what is happening.
That's what it feels like to me, too.
Each bounce spell allows 1 attack. And past that, the creature can just be double blocked.
Right.
So... I mean, it could play out differently. He could Icy Manipulator the Joda, then on his turn, he taps one of the flyers and attacks, and then every 2 turns this pattern repeats. Because then the Joda will untap, he has to untap the Icy, and so he's still able to attack, but it just takes a long time. And at some point, Matt's going to draw lands and start playing one of his 5 spells in hand. So I can't see what they are, but if Matt ever draws a removal spell, then it's going to be really hard for Vikram. And it seems like he just did. That Merfolk Trickster is effectively a removal spell in a spot like this.
As we mentioned before, the ruling on this is about a Merfolk Trickster having targeted a 3/3 wearing Onsera's Wings, and they actually did end up appealing to the head judge for this. But as Paulo pointed out earlier, the creature will lose its abilities but get the +1/+1 in the legendary part. So it'll be a 4/4, but Matt... I think he blocked with everything. He's really trying to make sure that he gets this threat off the battlefield at really any cost.
Yeah, he will. He might not block with Wrath. If he blocks with just the Trickster, Baird, and the Relic Runner, that's already enough to kill the creature through a removal spell or a bounce spell. It is not enough to kill it through Run Amok. If he's playing around that card, then he might block with everything. The blocking with everything would lead to... just losing the Wrath and the Relic Runner, which is not optimal. But I think he has enough cards that as long as he gets rid of that thing, he's in a great shape. Yeah, so I don't know. I believe he hasn't even blocked yet because they were arguing whether he has flying or not. And, that impacts how he's able to block.
Right.
But he's probably thinking about what he's going to do in a spot like this.
That's right. And so... The ruling, though, is that it will lose those abilities, but keep the pump. So that means that Matt can just go ahead and go for the full-on multi-block here if you'd like.
Yes. So it is a 4/4 legendary ground creature without lifelink. Yeah. So it is what you call it. Yeah, he can tap something, but I mean, I guess if he taps Spirit, he gets to kill Wrath and. Because we're probably at this point we have to see a triple block.
Yeah, so he gets to kill Wrath and Relic Runner here.
Yeah.
Well, he'll take his 2 for 2. But the truth is, if you're in Matt Stanky's seat, you're still relieved.
Yeah, I mean...
Because that was the only card that really mattered.
It is. And a 2 for 2 when your opponent has drawn 5 lands more than you, it's pretty good. All you want to do is trade evenly. Look at how many cards he has in hand.
Yeah.
Does he have to discard?
No, he's got 6. He's going to go ahead and get in with Joda and also attack with his Merfolk Trickster, which is going to get traded. And now we see Cloud Reader Sphinx from Matt Stanky, and I can't imagine that Vikram can find his way out of this, given that his battlefield is now Icy Manipulator, Academy Journey Mage, and 2 lands in hand. Just nothing else relevant. There's another land off the top, and this one I don't see how Vikram was going to win this one.
So not only did he draw 12 lands, he also played the Compass,
Yes.
which isn't a real card.
Right.
And he played an Arcane Flight on a creature that died.
Yes.
And then a No Zero's Links on a creature that died.
Yes.
So he's managed to 2-for-1 himself a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's in a really bad.
He is down multiple cards for sure. And now we see Matt Stanky really turning the corner here. He's just dumping cards on the battlefield, and Tolarian Scholar was the kind of rub-in draw step there for poor Vikram Kudva, who's going to
we know.
scoop him up. Yep, you drew a lot of lands, my friend. And that is going to be Matt Stanky winning 2-0 and improving to 12-1. But it's not over for Vikram either. He could be on the verge of another top 8 in a relatively short period of time. Vikram also top 8 at GP Phoenix. Yeah. And if he can pick up a win next round, he could be in the top 8 here as well. He's only got 2 losses now.
Yeah, it is a small tournament, so I assume everyone with X2 is definitely going to make it, and some people with worse records as well.
There you go. All right, well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more Magic. Don't go anywhere.